going to win in World RX, you're going to need to take the hits and bounce back. Welcome to the 2018 FIA World Rallycross Championship presented by Monster Energy. After a hard-hitting round one, we have arrived at Montalegre in Portugal. Located near the Spanish border in the northern Villarreal region, the Montalegre track's beautiful setting at 1,055 metres above sea level offers one of the most brutal challenges in the season to both drivers and cars. Nobody quite knew what to expect going into round one in Barcelona, but everybody knew the fight for the championship started there. With two new teams, GRX Tanaco and GC Competition taking to the grid, and with a ton of winter development in action for the first time, everybody had something to prove. Current world champion Johan Kristoffersson knew he had to assert his authority, and he quickly found out he was a marked man. It may be a brand new season, but old rivalries came to the fore as Petter Solberg and Matthias Ekström lined up for the final. In the charge to the first corner, Ekström and Solberg wanted the same piece of track, and physics dictated that only one would fit. Solberg lost that scrap. Ekström took the lead. Behind them, Sebastian Loeb managed to hang on after a collision with Kristoffersson, who slotted into second place, followed by EKS's new recruit, Andreas Bakkerud. Loeb jokered early, found clear air, and started to hunt down Bakkerud for the undercut. Lap 5 and the Frenchman's efforts paid off. As the EKS Audi exited the Joker, Loeb slipped through for the final podium spot. A great comeback for the Frenchman, who have been dogged with problems all weekend. With the Jokers played out, Kristoffersson was laying the pressure on hard to the leading Ekström. Ekström defended with all the skills expected of a former champion and took the flag in top spot. But with the ticker tape still fluttering in the air, he knew he faced another battle as the stewards began to look again at that first corner incident with Solberg. The officials made their decision. Ekström was eliminated from the final.
For 2 hours I felt great, and the aftermath I think is we have to accept the decision, and even if we might not even like the decision, but we have never decided to appeal or protest stewards' decisions.
It's nothing to talk about. He's finished, you know. It's very easy to see what happened, and for me it's very obvious. But Ekström is a DTM driver. He's very clever with how he's driving, so he knows what he's doing, you know. And it didn't work out this time.
Barcelona is the latest incident in a long-running feud between the two former champions. Both South Africa last season and the title-deciding moment in Latvia 2016 have seen these two clash before. The tension shows no sign of easing between the camps.
I don't take it so personal when I'm in the race. I mean, I must admit, I think Petter has become a bit of a whiner.
I was calm all the time, you know. I didn't say anything or do anything, so for me it was quite easy. Let the judges do the judgment, and that's it. I bought him some glasses. I'm gonna give to him now later today, so I think he should be happy.
Following the stewards' decision, the race win was awarded to Kristoffersson, who sits on top of the table after round one and now has 10 race wins to his name in World RX, equaling Solberg and Ekström. In the team championship, the PSRX Volkswagen Sweden squad take top spot, but it's early days with 11 rounds left to go. The drama of Ekström versus Solberg may have taken the headlines, but we also learnt a lot about the rest of the pack in Barcelona. The ProDrive developed Renault Megane's impressed with both GC Competition cars reaching the semis. But perhaps the biggest achievement of round one was Niklas Gronholm in the GRX Tanaco Hyundai i20, reaching the final. It was a great drive by the young Finn in a brand new car to World RX that looks to be delivering from the off.
Yeah, really good. It's a big bonus for us to make the final, and yeah, gives a positive feeling for the rest of the season. Yeah, we still have a lot of work to be done. Yeah, it's a WRC car, so it's not you know, made for rallycross. There's been some changes, but yeah, we're still working on a few things. But yeah, the car is working fine, but it's fine tuning. We have to try to keep up the momentum and try to be in the semi-finals at least in every race. It's not always easy, but yeah, we have to work hard to stay in the top.
Loeb may have made the podium in Barcelona, but it was Timmy Hansen who was looking good for a great result before technical failure robbed him of an impressive semi-final win and a front row spot for the final.
Barcelona was a fantastic weekend. So many positive things. Like I was second in Q2, second in Q3. I won Q4. I beat Petter there, but unfortunately we didn't get all the way to the end. But I see more positives in that weekend than negatives. So I'm hoping that we can start here where we left off over there. I would like to step on the top step of the podium again. It's been a while, and I love this circuit. It's a circuit that's been a challenge for me, but I learned to love it. Like the rhythm you have through the gravel is amazing. To win on a track like this will be really special.
As the drivers prepare to get round 2 underway, let's take a look at the challenge they face on a track that they all love to drive. Montalegre in Portugal, 1,050 metres above sea level. This one is a real roller coaster, 60% asphalt and 40% dirt, and it's real dirt. We ride on board with Solberg down towards turn 1. It is a very big stop, regardless of whether you come from the start or the normal lap. He takes the standard lap. The Joker comes around the outside and merges on the left here. Now into the really committed part, round to the right and the left. Look at this. It drops away. Solberg uses the handbrake to tip the car in through the dip and up over the huge Montalegre curbs onto this dirt section, which does clean up and can make a difference to lap time. Round the right-hander, this one tightens, and it's important to get the car lined up close on the inside. Solberg does it perfectly. Pop it up over the curb on the left, close to the barrier on the right. Big commitment through the final chicane, and that is a lap of Montalegre. While the weather was better than predicted on day 1 in Portugal, it was fair to say that the track conditions in Q1 were developing through the session. The PSRX Volkswagen suffered the most, being drawn in the early races, with Christophersen the best of the pair in 3rd, behind Ekström's Audi, and Loeb in a Peugeot that looked to be very well balanced indeed. For Q2 though, the track steering was blown out of the water. The Peugeots and the VWs lined up together. First, Hansen beat Solberg with a series of flawless laps, looking incredibly comfortable in the rapid 208. Next, it was Loeb's turn. Aided somewhat by Ekström and Christophersen getting physical into the turn 1 Joker, the French rally legend put in a big push. It was super close. Loeb just over 300ths shy of Hansen's time, but with a 1-2 in Q2 and overnight, it was certainly Peugeot's day.
It feels good to have a car working well here. The pace was quite good in Barcelona also. Now it's a very different track, and we are also in the fight. It's very tight between the drivers, but at the moment I'm first, and that's really good.
Q2 race, the whole race was really good for me. Like every single corner of the 4 laps were really good. It's one of my best races for a long time. And there's no secret, the car feels good. Engineers and mechanics have done a very good job to keep it in top condition.
We're used to certain teams dominating, and this looks like it's the end of that domination.
No, it's the start of a new.
So it's a winner piece then at the top of the table for Sebastian Loeb and Timmy Hansen. The Peugeots heading the Audis and the Volkswagens here in Portugal. Kevin Eriksson, Kevin Hansen, Yannis Baumanis and Timo Timosjanov are currently just inside the cutoff. There is work to do for everybody else.
So here at OMSE, Kevin Eriksson, Q1 and 2 was much better than your first day in Barcelona. Your P9 overall, how do you feel about it?
It feels good. Of course, I would like to be a little bit better. The pace has felt good, to be honest. I had some issues in Q2 with when my power steering locked. So I was a little bit too afraid to go hard on the curbs because, you know, if the steering locks in the wrong place, you can end up bad. But yeah, the pace feels good and I like the car, so it looks promising.
Now, although it looks very similar to what we've seen before, this is an entirely new car. Is it taking a little bit of time to get used to?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we have some brand new technology that we have, tested out, and inboard suspension. We have the cooling up front now, which is new for all of us. But it feels very good. I like the car. I like the performance, and I think we can be up there and fight.
Hopefully see you in the semis and the final maybe. Let's go across here and have a word with new teammate Robin Larsson. Robin, you're just on the bubble now, I think 13th overall after Q2, but you're embedded in a brand new team. How are you feeling? How are you getting to grips with it?
Yeah, I'm learning every time I hit the track, so it's hard to tell how the car is gonna be. So that's the hardest part. So we sorted out some problems in Q1 and Q2. So hopefully we can sort that out and get some more speed, because I do everything I can on the track, and every time I hit the curves, the car just throws me out of the line. So I'm really struggling to find that speed, but now we found something on the car, so that's really good. So hopefully I can find some more speed.
And historically, we've always seen you come to the circuits. You're in charge of your own team. You've been an independent entry. Is it nice to be able to just turn up and drive as a member of a team where you don't have to worry about everything else?
Yeah, it's pretty nice to come here and the tent is up and everything. You don't have to drive the bus, but it's also fun to have their own team and be a group. And I think we're working on to be a good group, and it feels pretty good. And I'm working on everything and new engineers and everything. So it's a lot of new to learn, so it feels good.
Okay. Thank you very much, Robin. If we just quickly dive down the side, see if we can grab a quick word with Andreas. It looks like they're looking at some data to see if they can improve the performance. A quick word with the boss. Sorry to interrupt. You're looking at some very interesting data there on the computers. What can you adapt to improve performance for Q3 and 4?
No, we're looking on everything now and see if we can do something better. The altitude is very, very difficult, so we're trying to get the most of the engine, and so far we think we can get something more out of it. That's what we look for.
Okay, we'll leave you to it. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Hello, my name is Andrew Coley. I will be your commentator today. Joining me in the commentary box is Guy Wilkes, a World RX regular competitor and, of course, twice a British rally champion. Neil Cole reporting from the paddock and the spotters tower. Here is how we stand ahead of Q3. Sebastian Loeb at the top of the table from his teammate Timmy Hansen. Ekstrom, Kristoffersen, Baccarat, Solberg, Gronholm and Shisharit are your top 8. Kevin Eriksson, Kevin Hansen, Baumanis and Timosyanov currently inside the top 12. Larsen and Grosset-Janin with work to do. On to the early races of Q3. This one was 2 Portuguese and Oliver Bennett. In the background you can see a half spin, and that was for Joaquim Santos. Mario Barbosa was leading from Bennett at this point. Mistake as well for Barbosa. Grip levels were low, all 3 of these setting the times which were pretty sure to be beaten because the track was drying. Race 2, de Moustier on the outside, but both the GCK RX cars featuring this one. You can see Timosyanov going on the brakes, then getting back on the gas, deciding to take the joker lap behind Grosset-Janin, while Shisharit was on the standard lap with Larsen. Larsen here making a pass on Timosyanov. The Russian, though, managed to get himself back up the inside on the exit. Here you go, a little bit of door-to-door contact, nicely done. Grosset-Janin leading that particular pack. This was the joker lap merge, and you can see Shisharit comes out in front of his teammate Jerome Grosset-Janin. He would hold on to the flag, but later receive a 5-second penalty. Race 3, Q3 on the line and ready to go. Here's the lineup from the inside. The world champion Kristoffersen is up next to the Armco. He's got Niklas Gronholm next to him. Then it's Kevin Hansen. The Peugeots were rapid yesterday. Kevin Eriksson and Yannis Baumanis. And interestingly, they are all on wet weather tyres still. So I think that's probably for the gravel. We'll ask Guy Wilkes about it in a second. Start marshal, as you can see, has the poncho on. I suspect that's more for the wind than the rain. You have had some rain this morning, and you can see the track is still a little bit damp. We've seen a lot of wheel spin off the line for everybody during free practice and the earlier races today. Ready to race, light goes out, looking for the green. Here we go. Gronholm looks to have lost a bit of ground off the start line. Kevin Hansen and Johan Kristoffersen down towards turn 1. Kevin puts the squeeze on Johan. Kevin then goes deep on the brakes. He's gone late. Bails from that. He knows Kristoffersen's got him down into turn 1. And in fact, it is both of the Kevins who head down there. Kevin Hansen, great awareness there.
Absolutely. Probably got a call from the spotter, but still, when you're in the car, to have that alertness, because you can just get on the brakes quarter of a second, half a second too early. That's time lost. You need to have a definitive and decisive call or decision to know, right, okay, I can't get across the inside here. Johan did a great job of covering it off, even though he didn't get the best start. It wasn't an option for him. He'd have had to go around the outside and would have risked Johan getting into him.
Just clear, and that's clear, it's experience too, and Kevin's so experienced. You know, the stuff he's done in British Rallycross, then he went on, of course, in all the junior Rallycross formulas that he's been in World Championship, European Championship, and that's that switched on Rallycross head. I'm not going to get this. Why risk it? I'll take the joker.
Is the puppy of the Peugeot team as regards age, but experience.
Isn't it? I know.
His dad, his brother, the whole family has been around rallycross and brought up with rallycross.
Gronholm through the big dip, and you don't see it quite so much on the television, but it is a significant dip and then a rise up over the top. Guy, learning this circuit last year, I was talking about it yesterday. This place you found challenging, didn't you?
Yeah, it's very difficult, both the car setup when you're not used to it and as a driver, because the car does obviously get thrown around and bounce around on the curbs. You have to use the curbs as well in different conditions. In the dry you want to use them, sometimes in the wet you stay off them. But yeah, here obviously on the tarmac you need to be really neat and smooth and cover your line, make sure nobody does a silly lunge down the inside if you brake too early, so you need to be on the money but nice and smooth through this section.
Gronholm dropping a wheel off at the end of the lap there. You can see they use all the track and just a little bit more at times. We ride on board with him again up towards the crest. Here we go, curve on the left, then the curve on the right, and then watch for the long right-hander here. So you need to get the car rotated nice and early, and he'll try and hook the wheels up on the curve as Kristoffersson does in front of him. What's the gap at the minute back to Kevin Hansen? It's 3.9 from the leader. What do you think, Guy, at the minute in terms of Joker lap difference in these conditions?
I think it's too much for Kevin to actually pass Johan, but you never know. Johan's got a clear track and he's got Joker now, so we'll see right now.
So Johan goes in, and in fact Gronholm and Baumanis as well, of course, because it's the last lap. Kevin Hansen, I think, is going to slot into P2. He'll run the car wide. He does. He covers the line off. And although behind him on the slingshot, Gronholm is a little bit quicker, he can't find a way through. Ericsson is into fourth, and Baumanis back in fifth. So good run here from Johan Kristoffersson. The VWs yesterday suffered from a not great draw in Q1. They were both in the early races, but Kristoffersson, despite there being a lot of gravel on the track, still did a good job with the time. He runs a bit deep, and it's all about clock here. 2:54.7 at the bottom of your screen. Kristoffersson is going to destroy that, I'm pretty sure of that. Over the line, wait for it to stop. Whoa, right out to the outside. All 3, 4, 5 of the drivers using the dirt on the outside. 5.6 seconds faster, and that is a 2:49.1. So Kristoffersson with a 2:49.1. We're still around 10 seconds off the pace of yesterday. So Kevin Hansen second, Niklas Gronholm third, then Kevin Eriksson and Yannis Baumanis. And they slot all of them into the top of the table. So a little bit quicker on the track conditions. Good job by all of them. So Guy, off the start, talk us through Kevin's move here.
Kevin has 3/4 of a car, but he needs a full car to get right across Johan to cover it off, and obviously decided that he didn't have enough. He didn't want to risk it and obviously get tangled up. Remember, obviously they're still racing the clock. They don't want to hinder each other. So yeah, very clean driving, very sensible driving. Obviously here on board with Niklas Gronholm, through into the funnel, and nice neat job.
Kristoffersson is the current leader of Q3. We've got one race left to go.
So, Tommy, yesterday wasn't the perfect day for Johan, but that was the best possible start to Sunday.
Yeah, it's all time great to come out strong on Sunday morning, and it means a lot for us. And like you say, it wasn't the best day, but this was very, very important for us. And we will see now for the last heat if they can be faster than us, or otherwise it will be just a great start on the Sunday.
Good luck, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's take a look at one of our team profile graphics. This is Team Peugeot Total. Of course, they had a team name change over the winter. Timmy Hansen and Sebastian Loeb. Hansen, age 25, Loeb a little bit older, but a 9-time World Rally Champion. 33 times in the final for Hansen, 15 for Loeb, 22 podiums for Hansen, 10 for Loeb. Remember, Hansen's been doing this a little bit longer than Loeb has. 5 event wins to 1 for Sebastian. Timmy Hansen, of course, is actually a member of the 50 club as well. 96% of the time qualifies to the semi-finals for 88 for Sebastian. 66 to the final and 58 for Loeb. So Hansen, with those 50 events, that extra experience paying off. You can see he's just slightly ahead of his very illustrious teammate. Final race of Q3 lining up. I have to say the weather looks to me like it's getting slightly worse right now. It's maybe not raining, but it's certainly coming in the background. Look behind the grid and you can see the way the clouds are closing in on these guys. Wouldn't be ideal for them. Of course, these are the fastest people from day one. If they get the rain now, they could find themselves dumped back to the back of the grid. Wipers are on the inside for Timmy Hansen. Sebastian Loeb next to him, Matthias Ekström, Petter Solberg, Andreas Backer. What a lineup. The 2 works drivers for Peugeot, the 2 factory-supported drivers for Audi, and Petter Solberg, of course, the double world champion with the support of VW behind him. So this is a brilliant lineup. They're all on wet tyres. They have got their wipers on. So the weather has changed just ahead of the final race in Q3. The pace setter at the minute is Kristoffersen with a 2:49.1. Keep your eyes peeled on the clock at the end of the race, but until then, it's all in on the way down to turn 1. Anti-lag on. Oh, it's a pretty even start again, but Solberg looks to have got the best of it. Solberg's going to try and move across to the inside. He covers off Hansen on the inside, so who's going to go Joker now? Backward goes deep. Ekstrom's gone early on the brakes, but it wasn't enough. Loeb's gone in, the Joker backwards gone too deep. Backwards losing time. He's going to try and go up the throttle. Loeb looks up the inside, but he can't get through, so backward leads through the Joker, and Solberg is leading on the standard lap.
The Joker, they ran way too wide, but he just kept at it and got the car back online. Petter Solberg nailed that start. He absolutely destroyed everyone. Obviously, the right RPM setting is a lot of testing goes into that to get that right, and obviously a lot of knowledge from the team to judge the conditions. It's so cold here, Andrew. It's only 3.7 degrees. It must be the coldest RX event there's ever been.
On board with Solberg now, and yeah, absolutely bang on the RPM guy. Absolutely bang on it. He's pulling the gears down the straight. He has got Hansen right up behind him, and Hansen yesterday was mega, wasn't he?
He was electric, actually. We talked about, driving styles a little bit yesterday, and Timmy did talk about this track and how hard it was for him to learn, but he's definitely mastered it now, and the Peugeot looks good, doesn't it?
On board with Solberg. Look at the effort that goes in. You said to me as well about the how physical this track is on you as a part of the car.
Yeah, definitely. Last year, when you climb the curves, especially in the dry, when the grip's obviously higher, the lateral grip, you get your helmet banged off both sides of the seats. Obviously, these chassis are the best in the world, in this championship. And the dampers they have in these cars are definitely better than the ones that I had, but at the same time, it's so physical.
So fastest lap of the day, Andreas Backward. He's trying very, very hard to make up for that lost time in the Joker. And is he going to be close enough? Because look, he's only 2.1 back off Solberg. So at the minute, Guy, this is looking on.
Backward is electric. He's on fire. We haven't been following him, but we are now.
What about the lap times with Kristoffersen? So Kristoffersen was on a 40.4, and they are putting in similar lap times now, so track conditions don't look to have changed too much. Because we are finding that, so our predictor is saying that Backward is going to get this, and to me, Hansen looks like he might have the measure of Solberg here in terms of pace, but he can't get through, Guy.
Joker strategy, isn't it? And obviously now it's a little bit late, but Andreas Backward, and consider the time he lost in the Joker as well.
He'd have been a long way ahead.
Half a second, I would say.
Here we go, Solberg and Hansen down into the Joker lap. Look to the inside, you can see Andreas Backward is rounding through there now. Hansen looks got so much traction, he's looking at the inside of Solberg. They're both outpaced Loeb, so they were going well, but Backward, what a drive.
It's a long time since we've seen a Peugeot climbing all over the back of a VW, isn't it?
It is indeed, and yesterday I think it was a big shock. No VWs in the press conference at the end of day one. It was a Peugeot 1-2 with Audi there in third position. Backward yesterday didn't look to me like he'd got the car underneath him that he wanted. Remember, this team is built around Matthias Ekstrom, but the Norwegian today is doing a great job. Can he take Q3 for the Audi team around through the right-hander and over the line? His target time is at the bottom, and he's done it. 2:47.8. Fantastic job. He's 1.2 seconds faster than Johan Kristoffersen went, and it is Backward who takes Q3. There's that fantastic time. It's a Norwegian 1-2, a German 1-2, but an Audi from a VW. The Peugeot, though, to me, looked really fast, particularly of Timmy Hansen. Sebastian Loeb maybe had a little more clear air, but couldn't live with Backward. An Ekstrom at the back of those five was P3 last night. There's where they slot in. So the VWs are still right up there, but so are the Peugeots and the Audis. This season is going to be super close.
Yeah, as you can see at the start line there, Petter just got it down, got traction and went. Everybody else, it's a great shot, that, isn't it? Obviously, people are going different strategy down.
It looks so slow there, Guy, as well to us. But I mean, it's tight, isn't it? This corner.
It all happens so quick as well. When you have a car, when you're going standard lap and a car passes you on the Joker, it's a bit of a shock.
The speed differential between the two lines very big. Look at Hansen here, and this is what I mean about, he looked like he had grip to spare. Couldn't find a way past Solberg, though. Would he have been able to match Backward? We'll have to wait to Q4 to find out.
Well, Emil, we were worried that the conditions had got worse for that last race of Q3, but Backward's time was incredible.
Yeah, he's an excellent driver and he really showed his pure speed and talent today. I mean, that lap time of 40.0 something was brilliant.
So it bodes well for the rest of the day?
Yeah, everything feels great. I mean, now we just keep on going for Q4 and then have a good spot in the semi-final.
Thank you, good luck.
Thank you.
Well, the umbrellas are up at the end of Q3, but Andreas Backerud got the job done despite the fact that the drizzle had started to fall, and this is how they stand at the end of Q3. So Sebastian Loeb is still top qualifier at the moment with that win in Q1 and a second in Q2, but Backerud is equal look with Hansen, but by virtue of him winning Q3, he is the man who takes the second place. So super close between them. Hansen third, Kristoffersen, Ekström, Solberg, Niklas Gronholm very good in the Hyundai in seventh, Kevin Hansen the third of the Peugeots up in P8. Kevin Eriksson is in, Shishirit, Baumanis and Timosyanov currently inside the top 12. Larsen, Grosset, Janin with some work to do, and there's a little bit of a points gap there between 13th and 12th. Analysis package for you from Montalegre in Portugal. We're going to start with some wonderful slow motion shots. Solberg here in his typical sideways style, and Guy, there's a number of driving styles at work here. You know, you competed here yourself last year.
I did indeed, Andrew, and this track, actually, on the gravel, you have to get much more sideways than normal for a number of reasons. A, the curves are so big and they want to push the car out into the middle of the circuit. As you can see here with the Peugeot, Timmy and Petter have distinctly different driving styles normally, but here it's taken Timmy Hansen, he's admitted, a lot of years to master this track, and it looks very simple on paper when you look at a plan view. But this section here, as you can see, obviously big high curves at the cars. You try and fight up them to get the grip from the front end of the car to hold it into the corner just like that. As you can see, the rear left wheel, Petter's trying to get all four wheels, even though it's a gravel section, it's worn down to the tarmac. He's trying to get all four wheels to bite and get better traction so he can fire himself out of that corner much quicker.
And you can see it cleans at the inside of the curb as well, so it's important, isn't it, to make sure you get the car in there. But look at the action from the curb as well.
And that chassis there is one of the best in the paddock, if not the best in the paddock, and see the reaction there off the curb. Now back on board with Timmy Hansen.
Yeah, now this was his absolutely fantastic run in Q2 on a mission in the Peugeot. And what was interesting talking to Loeb yesterday is they're now saying that Peugeot, last year he said it either understeered or it oversteered, and it's clear from this that they've got a very good car underneath them.
Neutral. And as you see, Timmy Hansen very smooth on the tarmac. That's what he's noted for. Now here, watch this corner. It's very long and late apex. Watch how sideways he gets it on the handbrake. Still turning in with a bit of understeer, but that car is at a massive oversteer attitude. And through here, this is a funnel section. Very tricky to get right, as you can see there. Very quick left-right section, Armco barriers. If you get that wrong, you're definitely clipping it and costing yourself massive time down the straight.
On board with Solberg now, and you'll see Solberg coming around the standard lap, and this is Hansen, who we were on board with, who was on a flyer. And Guy, at that point, you know the other guy's got the better tactic than you, he's done the better laps than you.
Yeah, too late, obviously, a bit of a slingshot, just like Barcelona, the previous round out of the Joker. And as you can see from this onboard footage from Petter, the big reaction from the curbs. You know, it's a really exciting track, massively enjoyable when you get it right, but it is so difficult to get right. Again, watch on board through this section how it funnels down through the Armco barriers. We saw Timmy get very sideways. Petter actually not as sideways as Timmy got through there. Quite unusual.
Here's the onboard with Timmy through that section of track, which he's always said he used to find tricky, but I think you can see from how relaxed he looks, he's absolutely on top of this car here in Montalegre. Great job by Timmy Hansen and the Peugeot squad getting the job done. Will they continue to do so through the rest of the weekend? Just one qualifying session remaining, then Q4 still to come. Sebastian Loeb still TQ at the minute from Backerud, Hansen, Kristoffersen, Ekström, Solberg, Gronholm and Kevin Hansen. Kevin Eriksson, Shishirit, Baumanis up to 11. Timosyanov and Robin Larsen fairly close on points for 12th and 13th. Despite the sunshine at the start of Q4, it had actually just snowed prior to this session. Oliver Bennett the first to find out. It was a bit slippery down in turn one. The Moustier managed to slip up the inside and pass him on the exit, and he would hold that position all the way through to the checkered flag. A nice drive by the Frenchman. Second race of Q4 on the line. Shishirit, the last of them to pull up to the jump start sensors. Let's take a look at the full lineup as you look at Robin Larsen, who's in the middle of the grid. Jerome Grosset up against the Armco on the inside with Timosyanov next to him. Both those cars very quick. Robin Larsen, you've just seen. Mario Barbosa and Gulan Shishirit. So Larson looking P13. Timozyanov is in 12th. In fact, Jerome is down in 14th. So a few people here who are looking to fight their way in, and Shishirit in 10th will want to hold on. Shishirit was given a 5-second penalty in Q3 for contact with Larson in turn 1. So that's dropped him down into this race. They've got the teammates on either side of the grid. Green flag at the back, waiting for the green light at the front. Oh, it's a stall on the inside for Grosjean Santos as well. So Grosjean has gone straight out the back door. Timozyanov with a nice hook up. Larson's going to come in tight behind him on the brakes. Is Shishirit going to go Joker? He does. So Shishirit goes Joker. Larson being really careful. A little bit of barring around into the Joker lap has gone Santos. And Grosjean, you can see, has rejoined. Is he going to come out in P3 or is he going to end up down in P5? So Grosjean back into 4th.
Yeah, it was obviously an awful start for Jerome Grosjean in there, but Gillian Shishirit got a free track. Obviously after that 5-second penalty, he's lying 10th. Very important that he gets a good clear run. But the battle really is Timozyanov and Robin Larson here. They are fighting obviously for 12th position. Timmer obviously in 12th, Robin in 13th.
So he's going to want to be ahead of him, is he? Basically, it's going to come to who's ahead. Of course, we've got to wait and see the times on the other drivers, but this is a straight race, isn't it, Guy, really?
He has to beat Timmer, and obviously there's a 4-point gap between them at the moment. He has to beat him by a good amount of time, so it's got to come down to strategy. They're both on the same strategy at the moment.
Great stuff. Nice to have Guy Wilkes with us in the commentary box, although we preferred seeing him out on track, of course. Into the Joker lap. That looks like Grosjean into the Joker. So Grosjean is now 8.3 off. And looking back out onto the main track, we can see, there we are, Timozyanov up through the last section, and you can see how much the track has cleaned in towards the apex. He's got to keep the car in tight.
Yeah, absolutely. The sun's come out, but it's not a dry track yet. Yes, it's drying very quickly. It is still windy here, and that obviously does dry the track a lot quicker. So, yeah, Timozyanov just pulling away from Robin Larson here a little bit. Just doing slightly faster lap times by 0.3 of a second roughly per lap.
So Timozyanov on a big push. The Hyundai's impressed me, obviously. WRC chassis like the Polo, but these guys say they've still got some work to do. Certainly they had to strengthen a few things, Guy, because the stresses of 600 horsepower are very different to approximately 300.
Yeah, Thierry Neuville, who drives it, or used to drive it when it was in the WRC, is a good friend of mine, and yeah, so I know a little bit about that car. It's a World Rally car, but a World Rallycross car, different guys. These guys haven't had that car very long to do the job they've done, so actually they're probably punching above their weight at the moment for the amount of development time they've actually had compared to everybody else. But back on board here.
That was interesting. You see Larson, as he came in towards the corner, you could see he had to get off the brake and then use the handbrake to change the angle of the car.
Yeah, just not quite fluid, obviously. This is a new car from Olsberg's OMSE at the moment.
Tight on the merge, just quickly, tight on the merge. Timozyanov's just going to get it, though. So Timozyanov is just in front of Shishirit, and Larson dropped down to P3, and that, of course, helps Timmer in his fight to try and hold on to P12 from Larson in P13. And that's, of course, not to say anybody from behind beats him. I think this might be Timmer just about booking his slot in the semis, Guy.
It is. This is the race. I don't think anything after this is going to affect it. These are the boys that are racing for
yeah, because everybody who's behind them is gone, haven't they? So it's only guys who are in front of them still to come. So Timozyanov is going to come around to take the checkered flag and hopefully a place in the semi-finals from Shishirit, and Larson over the line. Who's up next? Grosjean after that disastrous start, and Jerome's not going to make it here because he was P14 ahead of Q3. So both the guys from GCK having to learn the circuit, but I have to say Shishirit's done the better job this weekend. Timozyanov 253.9, Shishirit, Larson, Grosjean and Barbosa. And that is for about 3.5 seconds quicker than Demoustier had gone. So track is getting faster.
Tim, it must be good to get a race win, but the big question is, what's the track conditions like?
Yeah, finally we win some. We have a really good start, actually, first time in the wet, and I'm really happy with this one. We are in semi-final now. I passed my main competitors, and now it's a good pace. We will see how it finishes. We don't know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, this was a look at the start. Grosjean look just left there, and that's such a sinking feeling, guys, isn't it, when you get the start wrong? It's the race over, isn't it, instantly?
It is, but he did a great job to claw it back, but it's not going to be enough to make the semis, which that's the biggest disappointment for obviously GCK, obviously not getting 2 cars in the semis, but at least they have one. Timozyanov, on the other hand, has done a cracking job in there, kept his nose clean, got out in front, and led from start to finish.
And he knew what you spotted, of course, which was where everybody was in terms of the points. Timmer knew who he had to beat. He got the job done, and that's it. One of the Hyundais is through to the semis. Will the other one make it? So the quick guys are lining up on the grid now. It's still a wet track. Baumanis on the outside. The marshal just pushing him slightly back. Look how accurate that gap is that they set. So Sebastian Loeb on the inside next to Matthias Ekström, Niklas Gronholm, Kevin Eriksson and Yannis Baumanis. And there are the tyres. So Baumanis is on old ones, but Kevin Eriksson, Ekström and Loeb are all on new ones. And then Niklas Gronholm with new on the front. We understand they're all wet. So the marshal's just making one more adjustment. Niklas Gronholm has a little look across to the right. And in a minute it'll be eyes up towards the start lights. He's waiting for a thumbs up from the marshal. There it is, hand up onto the gear stick. And there it is, clunked into the gear. That's when it's go time. Ready to race light. That'll go out. It's a random gap to the green light. Oh, everyone away clean. Gronholm a little bit tardy though. Loeb and Ekström are going to drag it out down the straight. Ekström's got great front here, but Loeb's on his inside. Can Loeb hold him off? Ekström sees he can't shut the door. Goes Joker. Baumanis goes in behind him. Up the inside in the background. There's a nice pass. Is it Niklas Gronholm, I think, has managed to get himself through into P2. So Gronholm goes through, and that drops Kevin Eriksson back into third.
Yeah, Niklas Gronholm was really keen to get on the rear bumper of Sebastian Loeb into that first corner. A little bit of contact, but nothing too much whatsoever.
We saw earlier on, of course, Kevin Hansen making that sensible decision, guy. If you can't get to the inside, and this is why the drivers like the inside here, is basically you can kill the other guy's plan. If you're on the inside and you're halfway up him, they can't get through.
Niklas Gronholm just got slightly crossed up in that corner, then had to come out the throttle to get the car back online. Cost him a little bit of a gap, as you see there, as they pass the camera.
Look at Ekström there in the background. So he's chasing down these guys. A super sideways moment for the ex-world champion. He was the man who, as I said, last-minute decision to go Joker, and it's great. He's given himself a little bit of fresh air, and he's going to hunt this pack now.
And if you remember from Q3, the Audis were very, very quick. Andreas Backerud winning, but Matthias Ekström was not far behind whatsoever.
Good to see Backerud on the pace, wasn't it? We'll see him in the next one, but yeah, certainly looks like he's found a setup in the car that he likes. So Gronholm's coming under a bit of pressure, and Niklas Gronholm currently in P7. Kevin Eriksson, who is behind him, is down in P9. So these guys are both looking likely to go through to the semis unless they have any issues here. Ekström is on the back of them already.
He's on a hard charge here. He's done enough almost already. As long as he doesn't get bombed, he's going to be good.
Oh, gravel showers the spotters tower in which our commentary box is, overlooking the track. Into the Joker lap goes Gronholm. So Gronholm's out, but that doesn't release Matthias Ekström, and that's crucial. So Loeb's out front, and Ekström now is getting checked up by Eriksson.
Yeah, Eriksson's not actually travelling that quick. He's not had great pace this weekend. So Matthias Ekström is actually getting choked a little bit here in this race.
Look at the way they attack the curves here. This is why everybody loves them. Montalegre second mistake. Mistake from Eriksson. He did well to hold on to that guy.
Yeah, he did. That's exactly what can happen. Matthias Ekström having a sniff here. He's all over him. Big climb over the curves there from Eriksson, sorry.
Looked like he was struck. There was about 2 turns in a row. It looked like he hit the curve and it deflected him instead of pulling him in. Ekström's going to look to the inside now because Eriksson's going to have to Joker. Sebastian Loeb, where is Loeb compared to... there he is around the outside. Ekström looks like he might cover this. He's going to move and shut the door, and Loeb comes out with a whole load of extra speed, but he can't find a way through. And in fact, he nearly lost out to Baumanis.
Baumanis is on him there. He's all over him. I don't think he'll make it past because it's so narrow to the finish here. It's only a mistake that can change the angle. I don't know if there's something wrong with Eriksson's car. It looks like the front diff isn't holding the car into the corner.
Yeah,
maybe
he's
the preload or something.
He's really struggling.
Yeah, maybe the angle he hit the curbs as well.
Target time at the bottom of your screen is 2:53.9. How much faster is this track going to get? We're going to find out from Matthias Ekström now. He crosses the line and the time is 2:52.4. He goes 1.5 seconds on the Russian Timur Zyanov. Loeb and Baumanis really close behind. Wow. So Baumanis doing well to hold on to the back of that train as well. Here's the result. Ekström 2:52.4 from Loeb, Baumanis, Eriksson and Niklas Gronholm. And they're slotting in various places up and down there, but Ekström and Loeb look fast up. We've got one race to go. Is the track going to get even quicker?
The car seems to have really come alive today. That was a great race.
No, it was great, but I caught the guys in front, so we have no chance for total time. But car was good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's take another look then at the start. So Baumanis on the outside down towards turn 1, and so we're on board, and you can see there Ekström. That was what I was talking about, making the right decision, guy. If you're not going to get the inside line, and he managed to Joker, but luckily he was in clear air.
You're not going to go the long way round around the outside in turn 1 at all. So Matthias had to go Joker really.
There was that problem again for Kevin. And again, he had it in the next corner too. And here was the merge. And I have to say, I thought with Ekstrom being checked up that he maybe wouldn't make it back, but he did.
He did a great job, but Baumanis, we didn't really focus on. He did an awesome job as well.
Yeah, really, really good. One of our individual entrants. Fantastic to see the start machine performing so well. Well, you've got all sorts of umbrellas up there, inside-out ones and ones that are still working. Everybody in coats. The weather looks like it might be changing again. Last time, the last race of Q3 got away with it. Will the last race of Q4? Andreas Backerud flying in the Audi. We've just seen Ekstrom do a good job. Can he do it again? Christopherson and Solberg have spent the weekend recovering from a tricky Q1. Timmy Hansen was rapid yesterday. He's got his brother next to him. I expect to see them split the strategy down at turn 1. Brand new wets across the field. On board with Solberg. He's about to get himself focused. We've noticed that the VW has quite a long start procedure, it seems, to some of the other cars. Their revs often start up. Here we go. Looking at Timmy and Kevin on the outside, Backward on the inside. Look how close the two VWs are. It's not a great start for Solberg. Kevin Hansen's absolutely hooked it up. And now Christopherson moves across. Christopherson shuts the door on Backward. Kevin goes all the way to the inside. Does that release Timmy B? He's too late on the brakes. That's nice. A disaster. Christopherson as well. So that is a disaster. Sideways from Hansen. Ekstrom having a look up the Backward up the inside. Yeah, Backward's gone up the inside of Kevin Hansen. Timmy's now stuck in behind him. Guy, everybody got that wrong.
Yeah, well, actually, Kevin Hansen got a great start and he took a little nudge into turn 1, and I think he just thought, I'm going to get pushed wide here, and accelerate again and went choker.
I think Kevin's been pushed again off the curb. His brother Timmy looks up the inside now. Timmy's going to try and pass Kevin. Is he? They're both going to be sideways at the apex. Timmy might find better traction here, but at the minute Backward is getting away from them, and Christopherson, again, he was the one who, to me, we'll have to see the replays afterwards, but Christopherson's bottled up on the back of the pack, and this has played into Solberg's hands massively.
Hugely so. He's now into the joker. He's hoping to cut them off straight away.
And I don't think he's going to. Solberg's going to come out with a lot of speed, but Backward manages to shut the door. How close was that? Great for them to react to Backward going into the joker. But Solberg has come out in P2, and we're going to ride on board with him now. These two are fierce rivals, of course, for the publicity and the crown of being the top Norwegian driver in Rallycross. Backward leading from Solberg.
Yeah, we've got a great race now, Hans, here. These are, as long as there's no disasters.
Oh, Solberg a little bit wide.
Oh, it's really snarled it up behind. Kevin Hansen all over the back of him. This is a train.
So Kevin Hansen now, Timmy Hansen has ended up back behind Christopherson, which I don't think we saw, so they come flying past the commentary position now. Kevin late on the brakes. We are seeing some dry patches here. The sun's back out, the weather keeps changing. Guy, what are you seeing on the timing screens?
Andreas Backward's just knocked in a 40.9. It's the first one we've had in the 40s. Everybody else has been in 41s.
So Backward is absolutely flying out front. I'd love to know what they've done to the Audis overnight. Yesterday, the Peugeots were looking like the dominant force. Today, it looks like it might have gone back in the direction of Audi. But what's really interesting, guys, VW are not out front like we saw last year.
No, this is great. It's really mixing it up. Peugeot have come back with great force, and absolutely Audi as well. EKS, you know, they seem to got the setup right today, don't they? And yesterday.
I can't wait for the semi-finals and the finals. We get down to knockout, and it comes down to joker strategy and proper elbows out.
That's what they're all fighting for now, is that semi-final position on the grid. So
Christopherson's going to go to the inside of Kevin. So Kevin with a little moment on the brakes there. Timmy's going to go past through. So Kevin Hansen, did he make a mistake on the brakes down there? Dropped from P3 to P5 in just 2 corners.
It's harsh, this game, isn't it?
It is, especially when it's so close. And this is what we love. This is Rallycross as we had a couple of seasons ago when you never knew who was getting a win. They're coming around the last couple of corners. Bottom right of your screen is the target time, 2:52.4. Matthias Ekstrom leading. His teammate Backward hunts down the clock and the checker flag over the line. And it is a 2:50.6. Backward wins Q4, so that's 2 wins for Backward. He won Q3 as well. And Sebastian Loeb, where is Loeb going to finish overall on the timesheets? 2:53.5, doing a bit of maths down here. I think Backward might have done enough there to take the TQ. So Backward, 2:50.6 from Solberg, Christopherson, Timmy Hansen and Kevin Hansen. What a race that was. They go to the top of the standings there. Ekstrom drops down. Sebastian Loeb's down in P5. It was pretty close on the points. It's going to be between Loeb and Backward, and we'll find out in a minute who goes top qualifier here in Portugal.
Watch this yellow car. Kevin Hansen gets a great start, comes across the inside. Does he take a tap?
Oh, it's hard to tell, isn't it?
Christopherson also, he ran on too long.
Baccarat did a great job here to get up the inside. Peugeot, I'm pretty sure, would have tried to split the strategy, wouldn't they? And it almost felt like Kevin had got the better start than Timmy, and then they had to change plan.
It was a mistake, definitely, I think, but he was trying to outbrake Kristoffersson, and Kristoffersson also outbraked himself, so...
That merge is so fast here, it's really committed, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Oh, wow, absolutely brilliant racing. Look at this, tiny mistake, bang, 2 places down. What a race. Absolutely fantastic way to round out qualifying here at round 2 of the 2018 FIA World Rallycross Championship.
Andreas, you're completely unbeatable today. We've got to ask, what has changed with the car and with you?
I mean, getting more and more comfortable, getting more and more good feedbacks, getting more in the flow, and you know, changing a team, changing a car takes time, and I feel like finally I drive the car and not the car driving me. So yeah, getting more and more flow, and it feels good.
Well, I can tell you that you are top qualifier going into the semi-finals.
Yeah, that's also very good. Like I hit one milestone in Q3 with setting the bar there. First qualifying win with the new Audi S1 EKS RX. So yeah, I'm stoked. I can't wait to get into the semi-finals and final. I think it will be a hell of a race.
We hope so. Thank you. Well done.
Thank you.
Yes, he's pleased, isn't he? Played it cool, but 2 wins in Q3 and Q4 sees Andreas Baccarat knock Sebastian Loeb off the top spot at the last gasp. He is top qualifier here for his brand new team. Fantastic. Loeb is in second for Peugeot. Then we've got Matthias Ekström with the Audi. Then we got the Peugeot, Timmy Hansen in fourth. The Volkswagens are down in 5th and 6th. Kevin Hansen makes it through in the 3rd Peugeot. Kevin Eriksson is up there in P8. That's good for him to be in the semis. Niklas Gronholm in the Hyundai and Timosyanov down in P12. Look, so both the Hyundais are in again. Janis Baumanis as an individual entrant is in, and Gulan Shisharit puts one of the Renault Megane RSs through to the semi-finals. Unlucky for Larsen and Grosjean, they miss out. Well, what a day we have had so far here at Montalegre in Portugal. You can see the top of the mountains now. You couldn't see them earlier. We've had bright sunshine. We've had heavy snow. We've had rain. But finally, we've got a dry track. Been absolutely brilliant. It's been a roller coaster. Of course, your TQ man is Andreas Baccarat. It's his first TQ for his brand new team, EKS RX Audi Sport, which he was very, very happy with indeed. And this is actually his 51st event. So last time out in Barcelona, we hit the 50 mark. We've got a 50 club, which is Andreas Baccarat, Petter Solberg, Timmy Hansen and Timo Timosyanov. They are the only 4 drivers who have done every single World Rallycross event since we started in 2014. We're going to have a look at a couple of their stats before we get stuck into the semi-finals. So here is Andreas Baccarat. So 50 events, as I say, for the likeable young Norwegian, just 26 years old. Entered in 2014, as did everyone, of course, who's on the Magic 50. 33 finals, 29 podiums. These are impressive stats, you can see, and 6 wins. He hasn't had one of those for quite some time. 2016 was his last one. But look at that, 92% of the time through to the semi-finals and 66 through to the final. Will he reach the podium today? He's the top qualifier. We'll find out soon enough.
Well, Andreas, of all the 50 World Rallycross events you've competed in that rare club, this certainly must be one of the coldest days in the World Rallycross history.
Definitely, it is really cold here on the pre-grid. You see all the drivers wearing jackets, and you see the crowd here is like tightening up next to each other. So yeah, it's really cold, windy, and you know, it's the game of this early of the year. It's pretty cold up here in the mountains.
And give us a sense of what these 50 events have meant to you, some of the highlights and the experience it's brought you to be on pole position for one of the semi-finals.
Well, as you said, 50 races. I've been in a few different teams. I've had a great time with every one of them. I have had some ups and downs. I've fight my best and I don't regret anything I did.
Thank you very much, Andreas. Good luck in the semi.
Thank you so much.
Great performance, I think, Guy, from Andreas today. You know, top qualifier. I wouldn't have said the Audi was necessarily underneath him in Barcelona, but it looks like it is here.
The car looks fantastic, so all credit to EKS, but don't be fooled by his persona. He is a hard racer. Firm and in the general, like he said, I don't have any regrets. More times than not, he's very fair. Good racer.
Well, there's a Petter Solberg flag. Look at the very back of the grandstand, and that's appropriate because we're going to be able to have a look at some of Petter's stats as well. Of course, a massive rival for Andreas Bakkerud, the two of them coming from Norway. Bakkerud after the crown, but I think it's firmly with Solberg still at the minute. Of course, he's twice a World Rally Cross champion and once a World Rally champion. Here are his stats. So Petter Solberg, he's a little bit older, but that's okay. 43 years old, Torsby in Norway, 50 events. I say he's in the 50 club. 39 times in the final, 24 podiums, that's half the time he's been here, 10 event wins, and there are only 3 drivers who are on 10 event wins. Solberg, his teammate Kristoffersson and Matthias Ekström, 98% of the time through to the semi-finals. 48% onto the podium. I mean, mega. And 20%, he's one of our most prolific winners. Here he is with Neil.
So, Petter Solberg, of all the 50 events up until this point, the crowds just keep getting better and better at World Rallycross, don't they?
Yeah, it's fantastic. And here in Portugal, it's always been very, very good. And I remember the first victory I had here, it was unbelievable. So, yeah, it's great.
Now, we've just been looking at some of your stats in this sport, and it's very, very impressive, and you're still here in the semi-finals, still strong, but the competition's got a little bit stronger this year.
It's very hard. It's unbelievable. You know, we knew it should be like that. You know, they have been developing and done a lot of job, and it's so tight and small mistake, you're finished. So I think that's Rallycross. That makes it very exciting. Okay, me and Johan, we maybe don't have the perfect position, but this is the game. We have to raise our level, and but we're going to give everything in the semi now.
And give us a sense of what the track conditions are like here at Montalegre, because they've changed so much, but this really suits your driving style, I think.
Yep, but we're actually struggling on the gravel. You know, I'm fastest on the tarmac, but we are struggling a little bit there. And yeah, a little bit surprising, because on gravel I'm pretty good. But by the end of the day, you know, it's so the conditions between every run can change. You know, I lost a lot in the first heat yesterday, and that held me back a lot through the whole weekend. And this is something you have to expect. You know, it's outside door sport. You know, what can you do? At the same time, we were quite lucky in the last heat, in the fourth heat, that it didn't come more rain. That could also destroy a lot. So we are pleased to be in the semi.
Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Solberg, yeah, a little bit on the back foot here, Guy, but he clearly loves this sport, doesn't he? I think it's great to see someone who's had such a long career in motorsport, still enthusiastic about competing at it at the highest level. And Rallycross is short and sharp. I think it's quite exciting, isn't it, for everyone?
Yeah, well, obviously he started his career in Rallycross, went to Rally and has come back to it. He bought into the World Rallycross Championship right at the beginning, as committed as ever, 110%. And it's paid dividends. You know, he's having a great time. Obviously, he got a fantastic deal with VW. They came on board, and look at the last, year and a half that they've had. It's been unbelievable.
Indeed, very good. Are they going to maintain that dominance this year? Because we've got Peugeot, who are putting them under a huge amount of pressure. And talking of Peugeot, Neil Cole has actually just managed to find Timmy Hansen down on the grid. So let's go and hear from Timmy now.
Timmy, you're part of that rare club. Only 4 drivers who've done 50 events in the World Rallycross Championship. Give us a sense of what that means to you as still a young driver, still competing at the front end.
I think it's easy why you want to continue this atmosphere right here. The music is playing, the crowd is absolutely crazy, and being just ahead of the semi-final, that feeling, it's impossible to get anywhere else. And I'm happy I've been able to do this many races, and I hope there is at least 50 more to come.
Now, it's great to see that you found something special in the Peugeot this weekend. Could this be a first victory of the year?
Yes.
Good luck, thank you.
Thank you.
The smile and the laugh tells you all you need to know. Yes, says Timmy Hansen. He could be back on the top step of the podium. So 50 events for Timmy as well. 25 years old, 33 finals. Very impressive indeed. 22 podiums. Been a while since we've seen him on that top step. 5 event wins. Is he going to get another one here? They're looking very strong. Incredible consistency from our top 3 guys. 66% into the final and 44% on the podium. We've got one more man in the 50 club, and it's the legendary Russian Timur Zyanov.
Timur, it's great to see you still competing at the very sharp end of this sport after 50 events. You've been in this since the very beginning. Tell us how it's developed.
Actually, it's my life. Rallycross is my blood now, and it will stay, I think, forever.
We're spending a lot of days, a lot of years here in Rallycross, and I really like it since I was starting to drive it.
And we've seen you in a few different teams, a few different cars, but this new car seems to be up to speed very quickly.
Yeah, we're progressing per race, and I think we are waiting for some good things for Belgium. It will be even more competitive. At the moment, we're trying to catch out maximum points as we can, but we will continue to fight. The season is long. Nothing is finished yet.
Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you so much. See you.
Well, Timoš a double European Rallycross champion in Supercar, and of course, previous to that, Super 1600 champion, 31 years old. He's in our 50 club. He's the only one of our 50 club drivers who hasn't won. 11 times through to the final, 2 podiums, just hasn't quite had the pace, 0 wins, but this guy is rapid. He very nearly won against Bakkerud a couple of years ago in Norway, at that puncture at the bottom of the hill, and I think that would have given him that one win that he's so desperate to get. He wants more than one, of course, but we'd like to see that 0% have a little rise here for Timoš. It's been great to have the Russian along with us for every single one of those 50 events. Fantastic, great to catch up with everyone in the 50 club. So Bakkerud on the top qualifier spot, Guy. You know, we're coming up towards semi-final time. Who's your money on?
I've got to say that, well, for the win or for the semi-final?
For the wins. For the win. Yeah, for the win. Obviously, they've got to navigate the semi first, but, you know, come on, let's go for it.
Andreas Bakkerud, but do not discount Timmy Hansen. He has been an electric pace when he's had a run that he's not been balked on.
Well, this is the thing that I'm interested in too, is yesterday it was maybe a little bit drier than it was today. Yesterday, the Peugeot for me was the car of the field. You know, suddenly we've had wet conditions today. The Audi for me was the car of the field. But, you know, now we're coming up, dry conditions again. Who's going to make it through from the semi-finals to the final, and who is going to take the win here at round 2 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship 2018? Kristoffersen down on the grid. The Polos are slightly off the pace of the others here. That's not fair to say off the pace, is it? But I mean, they're not killing it like they were last year. But I'll tell you what, let's have a look at some of the starts from Q4, and we can maybe see some of the reasons why they haven't been quite at the sharp end. So this was the first of the races, so this is only a 3-car encounter, Guy, and this isn't quite so hard. Again, look at the track conditions. It was hard for the guys to judge the braking zones. This was the time where Bennett did get it stopped, and he used the handbrake on the way in. It's more interesting. Timoš, in fact, getting underneath him. But for me, I'm really keen to see the 4 and 5 car starts. So here we go. Grossage in, but here, Shisha it down the outside.
Brand new car, obviously getting good starts straight away. You know, they've got a decent launch strategy with one car, the other one, but might have been split slightly, you know, to try and maximise traction. It's very difficult to get the RPM right, so you get a good traction without too much wheel spin, but obviously you don't want to stall.
This was Ekstrom versus Loeb. Ekstrom with an absolutely brilliant start, but actually didn't even try to shut the door, and Loeb just fired it into the Joker, and that can work too.
It can be strategy, because if you're in the inside lane or P2, then you can really balk everybody else by diving down there.
Now this was where Kristoffersen, I think, ended. Was it for it? Yeah. So he got bundled off and ended up going to the Joker. Watch Bakkerud. He was P5 on the braking zone. Kristoffersen changed his mind.
Yeah, I mean, it was for those guys, how experienced they are, it was a bit of a mess.
Yeah.
But that can happen here because your strategy is really only made after other people make it, especially when you're behind them.
We saw all 5 into the Joker last year. Do you remember? It might have been one of your races, Guy.
Definitely not.
but that's what, as you said, that's what can happen. If everyone's looking for everyone else, and suddenly you're like, oh no, we're all a bit deep here. We're all Jokered.
I was trying to outbrake Timo Schneider. I was on the inside. He was in P2, and we ended up running too deep in the corner.
5
into the Joker.
And 5,
disaster.
5 spotters left the bus immediately. Wow. Might as well go back to the tent.
Yeah.
On board with Niklas Granum. Niklas is doing well, isn't he? He's been impressive, I think. Where's he qualified today? Niklas is on row 3 of semi-final number 1. So good job by him. Looks nice and relaxed in the car.
His dad was actually telling me he's a bit under the weather. He's not feeling too great. So, and I did actually notice that in Q3 and 4 today, he just seemed to tailed off. His consistency through Barcelona and Q1 and 2 here yesterday was good, and it looked like he was just getting a little bit quicker and a little bit more comfortable in the car. But yeah, that kind of confirmed what we saw in Q3 and Q4. He's just feeling under the weather, not too great.
Andreas Bakkerud with the top qualifier spot. Is it going to be enough to see him take his first win for his new team? His first win since 2016. It's not long till we find out.